This week itself, during Google Cloud Next, Google introduced the 8th generation of Google's custom tensor processing unit called as TPU. There are two basic architectures that are coming up, TPU 8T and TPU 8I. TPUs have slowly gained a lot of traction. In this video, I'll show you how exactly you can fine-tune Gemma 3 model, which is an amazing model on top of these amazing TPUs free of cost on Google Colab. Without wasting any further time, let's quickly start this video. Let's quickly start with the entire fine-tuning activity that we've lined up for this entire video. We'll start by installing Keras Hub, the library that provides pre-built Gemma models and LoRa support. This install also puts the latest dependencies for working with Gemma 3. Now that the installation is done, let's move forward. The next step is a very critical step. Firstly, I'll import OS system and the other libraries that are there. But what I'm showing you here, the section that I've highlighted here, is very critical. We set the Keras backend to JAX because we are going to run on a TPU. JAX is Google's numerical computing library that compiles your code with XLA, the same technology that powers TPUs. We also tell XLA, which is this section here, to use 90% of the TPU's HBM, which is high bandwidth memory, and disable deterministic ops for better performance, which is this section here. Without this, training would be much slower, or it can also fail because of memory limits that are there. So extremely critical once you start with the entire fine-tuning activity. So I'll go ahead and I'll run this cell as well. Now that this entire section is done, let's move forward. Here we import the core libraries, JAX for acceleration, Keras and Keras Hub for the Gemma model, Hugging Face datasets for loading a dataset, and TensorFlow for our data pipeline. TensorFlow works perfectly as a data loader even though we are running Keras on JAX. So this is the beauty of the entire Google ecosystem. So I'll quickly run this cell as well. Next up, we have some set of helper functions. So let me firstly unhide the cell. So here all of this looks very complicated, but it's very simple. Just a couple of formatting helpers, which is this section here. And here is where I'll kind of print out the exact versions that I'm using for JAX, Keras Hub devices. Given that we're using JAX, we'll automatically be connected to the TPU that we have. I'll show you how do you identify whether we're using a TPU or not. Even that is what I'll show you, but I'll quickly run this cell as well. Now here is where you have all the statistics. So this is the version of JAX that we're using. This is the Keras version. Here is where the devices are listed. If you get an empty list here, that means you are still on a CPU or a GPU if you've configured a GPU and you've not selected a TPU. So if you have selected a TPU, then this is something that should be visible for you, and the device kind is TPU V5 Lite. If you remember, for a GPU we have the command NVIDIA SMI. This won't work here because we are not using a GPU, but what will work here is TPU info. So this will list out all the TPUs that are connected to your current working session. So this is what I have. I have a 16 GB TPU with me. This is the overall HBM memory that is there. And what you have here is a TPU V5 E chip, one device, and this is the process ID that's running. And this is the current utilization that is there. I'll also show you the utilization once we kind of carry out fine tuning, once we load the model as well. All of this is what we have. But since we are on this topic, what you see here is there is a TPU with 8 cores that is given to you, which is V5E-1. If not, then you might have forgotten to change the configuration and you might be on a CPU or a GPU, which is where you can just change the device type to a TPU and you will get this access on Google Colab. Coming to the next section, we'll talk about hyperparameters and configurations required for fine tuning. We are using the Gemma 3 250 million instruction tuned English model, which is a 270 million parameter model. The rank of the adapter that we'll be using is 4. That is the dimension of the adapter matrix. Rank 4 keeps trainable parameters very tiny, so around 0.1% of the full model is what we'll fine tune. The sequence length is 256, which is shorter means faster and it requires basically less memory. Batch size is 2, so because we are on a small TPU, we start small. You can increase it if you feel the usage is low. The learning rate is relatively higher because you're not doing full fine tuning. We're using only 5000 samples from this dataset called as Alpaca dataset. That's enough to see meaningful adaptation without waiting for hours and hours for this to converge. So this is what we have. Then we have max tokens. This is basically used for how many tokens you want to generate while you make an inference. All of this is what I print out here. Okay. Now the next piece is formatting and loading the dataset. Here is where we load the dataset called as Alpaca, which is again an open source dataset available on Hugging Face. It has roughly around 52,000 instruction following examples. Then we split them into examples with and without an input field to keep a balanced of training dataset, which is what we are doing here. Then there is something called as prompt template that we are using. So it is extremely important here to realize Gemma 3 instruct uses a specific chat format. Every user turn starts with start of turn, which is this, ends with an end of turn. So this is what is expected when you kind of do fine tuning for Gemma 3. So this is what we have here. So then we have a format prompt function that builds the user part. The format response wraps the output with the model markers. So all of this is what we have. Finally, with whatever output is generated, I only want to kind of extract the exact section of where the response is. So this function comes in handy there. This section basically strips away the prompt and the closing token after generation and only returns the final output. That is what we have here. Now here is where we are building the data set. We are balancing the training set. About 1/3 of the examples have non-empty input fields, 2/3 are simply instruction only prompts. Then we create a TensorFlow dataset, which is here. Here is where we create a dictionary containing prompts and responses. This matches exactly what Gemma's pre-processing step requires. We shuffle, batch, prefetch for efficiency. Prefetch basically overlaps data loading with computation, crucial for our TPU speed. So I'll quickly run this cell. And here is where the data set is being loaded. These are the features of the data set. And this is what we have here. So the entire cell has executed. Now here is where I start with a test prompt. So here we define 5 evaluation prompts covering different skills like sentiment classification, haiku writing, technical explanation, NER and actionable advice. We'll run inferences before and after fine tuning to see the improvement that we get after fine tuning. And these are the prompts that I talked about as well. So there is a sentiment classification activity, creative writing, technical explanation, information extraction and actionable list. These are the tasks that I want to test my base model against a fine-tuned model. Now here is where the next part comes in, which is where now I have to load the model in the memory. So here is where my loading happens. So this is the line of code where I actually load the model. Since I'm loading the model for the first time in this entire instance, it will take around 540 MB and the first load will take a lot of time. But once that happens, then things will move very quickly. We set the preprocessor sequence length to 256 to match our training configuration as well. And then we print the total parameters, which are around 270 million parameters, and the memory usage as well. So I'll quickly run the cell. Now since this is a gated model, if you've kind of directly ran this without entering your Hugging Face key, this will not load. So you basically have to go here. And if you see here, I've already given access to my HF_token, and here is the value of the token. This is required in Google Colab if you want to access a Hugging Face model directly. Now once the model is loaded, what I'll do is I'll quickly open the terminal. I'll type in the command TPU info. And here I'm getting the entire information that initially, if you remember, when I had shown you TPU info, it was 0 GB out of 15 GB. Now it's loaded the model in my TPU. This is what I wanted to show you, that once you kind of have the entire model downloaded, and if you're using JAX, all of this will be automatically loaded into the TPU. If you see the output here, just going back a second, here it was 0 GB out of 15 GB. So it's a 540 MB model weights only. Then you will have activations as well. Now we'll start off and I'll show you inference before we go ahead and basically do fine tuning. So I'll quickly close that cell and we'll come back to this once we kind of do fine tuning. So here we want to understand what the base model already knows. So we'll generate responses from the lm.generate. So if you see here, Gemma lm.generate, here is where we'll pass in the input prompt and generate a response. Then we'll only extract the response section and then we'll kind of give out the results as well. So I'll quickly run the cell. Here this model has not been tuned for any activity so far. So whatever is the base model responses is what we'll see here. So here it's kind of generated outputs as well. So here the response before fine tuning is positive. Then a short haiku about artificial intelligence. So all of this is very well mentioned here. Then there is information extraction and actionable list as well. So all of this is using the base model. We'll see how well the model kind of adapts to the fine tuning activity that we're doing. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll unhide the cell and I'll take you through what is LoRa here. So here is where the magic happens. We enable LoRa, which is low rank adaptation on the backbone. LoRa will freeze the original weights and it inserts tiny trainable adapter matrices into every attention layer. After we enable that, we print only trainable versus frozen parameters. With rank 4, we only train about 0.1% of the model, roughly 0.8 million instead of 270 million. That's the secret of fine tuning on a small TPU. If I had a bigger TPU, I could have done a full fine tuning as well. But given whatever I have right now is what I'm using. So we'll go forward. Here is where we'll start the training. So I'll quickly unhide the cell. How are we planning to go about training, right? So we'll first set the global policy to bfloat 16, which is floating point 16. TPUs love this format. The reason is simple. It reduces the memory usage to almost half without no loss of quality. Then we compile the model with Adam W optimizer and sparse categorical entropy loss. The first batch will trigger an XLA compilation that may take around 2 to 3 minutes, but after that each step is fast. We train for just one epoch over 5000 examples. The loss curve at the end should go down significantly is what I am assuming. Let's see if that happens or not. Here is where I have my epochs. If you want, I can kind of increase the epochs as well. Let's do one thing. Let's increase the epochs to 3 and see how this materializes as well. And I'll quickly run this cell. Now as soon as I run this, I'll open the terminal and I'll show you the memory that it's taking as well. Now it's slowly increasing the memory. Here it's compiling. The XLA compilation is happening. It may take around a couple of minutes. The first epoch has not yet started. Essentially it's still the compilation process that's going on. I'll keep monitoring TPU info. Now it started. So if you see here, wait, I'll close this, 600, 700, 800 and so on and so forth. It's very fast. And if I show you the TPU info, now it's at 2.12 GB. So the fine tuning is taking 1 more GB extra with all the limited data set that I have. Here is the second epoch. My loss was 0.39 and it's at an accuracy of 0.58. Here as well, it's quickly moving forward. Here I'm down to 0.38. Again, I can use a bigger data set with different number of examples. I'm using only 5000 out of. Here again, it's at 2.12 GB out of 15 GB. So I can increase the overall number of samples as well because it's not taking a lot of time. But here is where we are. the loss curve is kind of going down from 0.37. It's come down from 0.4 to 0.37. Again, with more epochs, more samples, I would expect the accuracy to go up as well. So this is where we are. Now we want to generate responses after fine tuning using the fine tune model. This is where the LoRa adapters will now be active. Compare the outputs to the original base model is what I intend to cover here. So rather than going in like line by line, this is the entire crux of it. Essentially, you will see much more better inferences using the fine-tuned model as opposed to the normal model that are there. So let's wait for the inferences to come along as well. Here it says a sentence is classified as positive. Here it's also giving you an explanation of why it's kind of given as positive. Then here it's able to extract entities, and here it gives a proper established list as well. So better examples, better adherence to what I wanted it to do, which is what I really wanted this entire activity to be. So if I do a side-by-side comparison, this is the exact comparison. And finally, if you are happy with the model, if you're not happy, you can kind of carry out this activity with a bigger data set, more epochs, better ways of converging as well. But once you have something that is something that makes you happy, then finally we'll go ahead and save the adapter weights. That's few megabytes is what we'll have. So this is what we have here. So I've basically saved this entire weight as well. So if I go here, I'll have the model weight here, which will be this particular weight. This is what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you why TPUs are catching up and how you can use LoRa fine tuning on top of Gemma 3, again on a free TPU that is available to you on Google Colab, or you can use Kaggle as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to experiment with rank, batch size and everything that is there in this piece of code. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay subscribed for more such amazing videos that I plan to create. Thank you so much for watching the video.